All right, we are back this time with Spider-Man with Spyran. So it is very interesting game. We're playing on easy. We were talking before about a kids mode, so definitely interested about that still. So Spyran, take it away.
All right, hello, and welcome to Spider-Man. So, hello, I am Spyran. I guess quick introduction first of all. I have been speedrunning this game for maybe roughly like a couple of weeks, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. I've only just really started speedrunning recently, but this is easily, guys, I'm not even joking, one of the best speed games you'll ever watch in your life, and I'm going to prove it to you today. And so, here we have Spider-Man, or more commonly known as Spider-Man 2000. You'll have played it probably on your PlayStation 1, but it turns out it is actually available for PC, Nintendo 64 if you're in America as well, and Dreamcast as well. So plenty of opportunities to play. Today we're going to be playing on easy mode. So as just mentioned then, there is a kid mode. I'll show you that very quickly before we start. If you hover over kid mode, you get a cool cast of characters.
Kid mode.
Who will say kid mode? That's easily the most impressive part of kid mode. Okay, so we're going to be running on easy difficulty. This game is quite fast. There's a lot of tricks where blink and you'll miss it, so I'll try and explain everything as we go along, as well as kind of tell you the story. We're going to obviously skip in a lot of cutscenes, so the story is going to make no sense if you don't know the story. Some of you will know the story, I assume, because you'll play this before. This is a classic. In theory, in my opinion at least anyway, removing the modern PlayStation 4 or 5 Spider-Man, this is the best Spider-Man game, okay? And hopefully you'll agree, if you don't already, after this game. Okay, let's begin anyway. I'll count us down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. Okay, so the game starts off with a bit of a cutscene. You won't see that, but essentially, Dr. Octopus was presenting something, a reformed Dr. Octopus, and something was stolen by what people saw as Spider-Man, but it's actually an imposter, but we'll get onto that later. So, first things first, Spider-Man's got to stop a bank robbery. And basically, what the movement in this game works as, it's a lot of swinging. Swinging is the fastest way to move in this game. Apart from swinging, if not, it's zipping, which we'll be able to see a bit later on. But there's something known as swing cancelling in this game as well. So normally when Spider-Man swings, he can do a maximum of 2 swings before he'll attach to either the surface that he's swinging to, or he'll just fall down. Sometimes that happens too. So you'll see as I let go there, that was a bit scuffed because I wasn't supposed to fall that far. But in between swing 1 and 2, you can hit the jump button to essentially cancel your swing and swing again, and that ends up being a little bit faster. What you just saw there where I aimed was like the web aim, essentially, so you can aim where to swing, which comes in handy in this instance where we want to swing as high as possible. Enemies on the roof, we're going to web dome to eliminate them all. It pushes them all off the roof, and then there's just that one guy left, which will do a web ball too. Sometimes this guy also hangs around as well, we'll get rid of him. So there's a couple of spider moves, so web moves that Spider-Man will do in this game. There are 4 in total. There's a web dome, which you'll see, web ball, which you'll see, which you just saw then, web gloves, which you'll also see for all the boss fights, and web
I don't think he works here.
pull, which we don't see. Now, you'll see I just got out of bounds there. That happened very fast. This game is made of paper, it turns out. So, we're going to zip out of bounds here. The point of this mission is to rescue the hostages that are inside this bank. And so to do that, what we're going to do is hit this guy.
My compass can show me the way to the next floor.
To the elevator and go to the next floor.
Well,
Easy
going
as that.
down?
Again, a lot of blink and you'll miss it. It goes by quite fast, some of these levels. Okay, next level. What we have to do now is stop the bomb. So at the other end of this building here is the bomb. We're going to swing over here, up vent, across. So you can see, again, it's a lot of movement here, so zipping is slightly fast.
Mind if I drop
Zip
in?
here. To get through this door, we don't need to open it. Spider-Man will just zip through if you're in the right position there. Very clean, very clean. Hit this door. Smash these fellas with some web balls. All 3 of them, there we
The
go.
robbers have been
And then
taken
we've got a
care
bomb,
of.
right.
What can I do about the
We've
bomb?
got to get rid of this bomb.
Think,
So,
Spidey, think.
we have to put this bomb in a safe place. Spider-Man likes to say a safe place. So, we're going to throw it out here. There's a lovely safe just to the left of us here, so we're going to spin around, throw it in, and close the door.
Huh.
Now, the door
Big
doesn't
safe.
close, because by glitching through the door, we actually just remove the door altogether. But that was the door closing, and that's
Not
it.
this time,
We saved the day.
guys.
The game is over. Except it's not. The game isn't over. Okay, so next up, we've stopped the bomb, and now Spider-Man's gonna get a phone call. Ring, ring, who's there? It's J. Jonah Jameson. J. Jonah Jameson is under attack by Scorpion. Scorpion's gonna try and get him. So we've got to race to the Daily Bugle now to try and stop Scorpion from throwing J. Jonah Jameson out of a window, essentially. So, the Daily Bugle is just across this way. Again, a lot of these levels, when we're not inside somewhere, when it's this outside area, is a lot of just movement. It's just swinging as fast as we can, trying to get to place as fast as we can, going some slightly different routes than you would casually because of the technique known as swing cancelling. So we can kind of, instead of going up to the top of these buildings, we can kind of make our way around here. I'm going to use the web. In fact, I should be able to, there we go, actually swing across there. We can use this little zip up to the roof here to get faster. Right to the top of the ledge. There's the Daily Bugle, nicely labelled. And there we go. Made it in plenty of time. Okay, our first boss fight of the game. Very exciting. There's Scorpion looking all dashing and handsome in his little suit there. So, the common combo to defeat bosses is web gloves, kick, kick, punch. So, kick, kick, punch, kick, kick, punch. We'll do a final kick, kick, punch to finish him off. And that's Scorpion. Done and dusted. Now, if you're really unlucky, Jameson will run through that door if you don't do it fast enough. He'll run through the door, which obviously you don't want him to do in the speed run because that kills a lot of time. But he didn't, so he's very kind to us. Okay, now this is where things get confusing. You might notice the police nuking the city, chasing Spider-Man. Why is that? Well, do you remember at the start of the game when I said Dr. Otto Octavius, the reformed, in theory, Otto Octavius, was doing a science presentation and Spider-Man stole his little device thing?
That was
well,
close.
because of that, the police now think it's reasonable to just bomb the entire city to chase after Spider-Man, essentially. Of course, a very reasonable attitude from the police. NYPD finest. So we're trying to escape. The whole point of this next section is we've got to escape the police, essentially. So we've done so, first of all, to get to this part. And this part is we've got to climb to the top of this building. So, normally, casually, what you would do is climb up. But, because we're very clever, we can do this cool little web zip. So, once you reach a certain height in this base, the next bit being these boards here, we can actually just zip to the next ledge above us. Makes it very, very quick. Okay, so there's a sniper trying to shoot us now. So once the spider sense goes off, we just dodge to the right, dodge those bullets, and we should be able to get to the next zip point before he shoots again. Which we do. Beautiful. Right. And then one more zip to the top. And that's the top of the building. Nice and easy. Okay, next section again. We're running away from the police. There's some cool little tricks on this one, or one cool little trick you can do on this one, which I'll show you once we get there. But again, most of it's just swinging away from the police. This level can be quite finicky, especially for me. I find when I do speedruns, this can be where often resets will occur because I'll do something silly and I'll like fall, trying to go a bit faster and trying to push the swinging a little bit harder than I should. Often I will fall, and you'll notice that the floor is green. So part of the genius way that the devs decided to essentially not let you walk on the floor and it makes sense is that as part of this stuff that's going on with all this stealing of technology and Spider-Man on the run from the police, someone has released a deadly gas to the floor of New York City, and so if you fall in that deadly gas, you die essentially, and that's why Spider-Man can't touch the floor. But obviously, it's because the levels are only built.
Enough with the shooting already.
Okay, another building climbing one, except this time we've got to do some fancy zips. So we zip up to the top here. We zip up to here. Just do a little bit of a climb to get around here. Spin around, and then above us,
How tall
there's
is
a
this
crane.
thing?
So we're going to use this crane, using some zips to wiggle our way across. It's a bit finicky because the camera can be a bit funny. Swing across to here, and if we drop just at the right time, we cancel out a cutscene. Normally, when you climb up there, once you swing to that, there's a little cutscene that plays where you stand on top and the police shoot it down. You can skip that entirely by just dropping at the right point just before you hit that. Okay, last bit of escaping from the police. We're going to swing right up here. Spider-Man sometimes likes to do this, where he does a really high swing, which is very useful for us because we want to stay as high as possible.
These guys won't let
Because
up.
crawling is very slow, so anytime we can avoid crawling on a wall, we want to, because otherwise we're losing time. And that's the one thing you don't want to be doing as a speedrunner, is losing time. So we're right at the end here. Last little bit of swing, and then we're on to our next boss fight. Here we go, last little building. Boom, and we're there. Okay, Spider-Man's escaped from the police. And now we've got to go fight Rhino. Rhino's the next boss. Guys, this game is so good. There's so many characters in this. That's Black Cat, by the way. She's also in the game. Okay, Rhino's here. We're going to fight Rhino. So again, classic combo of web gloves. We're going to jump at him. Kick, kick, punch. And we're going to jump. Kick, kick, punch. We're going to jump. Kick, kick, punch. We're going to jump. And this kind of keeps him in a bit of a loop so that we don't get hit and it's nice and fast. And he's down. Easy as that. Now, sometimes if that goes wrong, there is a backup strat that we can use, but luckily we didn't have to use that. Spider sense tingling. It turns out Spider-Man allergic to police cars. I think that's law. Okay, and you saw it, a quick flash on the screen there. It's Venom. Venom's here. Right, Venom, guys, is the best character in the game. So now, it turns out Venom has kidnapped Mary Jane. Because in this, in the lore of this universe of Spider-Man, Venom knows who Spider-Man is and is chasing after. He's trying to lure Spider-Man out. Venom's kind of like an anti-hero in this, where he's kind of a good guy, but he has like bad kind of ways of going about things. So he's kidnapped Mary Jane in order to lure Spider-Man out to punish him for stealing this device. So we've got to try and chase Venom now to find out where Mary Jane is hiding. Okay, so we've got to run to this point, trigger that voice line, trigger this next voice line, just over this line here, and then we get a little nice bit of a cutscene. Now, guys, I want you to listen to some of these lines that play here. It's very important that everyone listens to what goes on in this building. So, silence. Here we go.
Out of my way, nerd! Watch that first step, Parker. It's a doozy.
Oh, toe, ow! Ow, my head!
Look out, lady.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness. Good line. One of my favorite lines in the game.
Oh, sorry, lady. Didn't see a thing.
Beautiful. And we're out. Okay, so we chased Venom through that building. And now we've just got to get to the end of this little section here. So we're going to chase Venom as fast as we can. You'll notice that there's a little bit of a bar at the top there like there was with Jameson and Scorpion. If we get too far away from Venom, we'll lose Venom. So we don't want that bar to extend too far, which is why you want to go fast on this level, but you can't go too fast. If you go too fast, you will lose Venom and you will have to restart the fight. The chase, sorry. Okay, so we get to this point here, and if we're fast enough, Venom just won't arrive until really, really late on. Oh, Venom's going to say, sorry, Venom. Nope, sorry, Venom. You're too slow. We've already gone. Okay, the first Venom boss fight. So, again, classic kick, kick, punches and web gloves here. Nice and easy. He should take only 3 kind of cycles to beat him. So we're going to stand roughly in the middle here. If we hold down L2, it'll essentially lock on to where he spawns, which makes it a bit easier for spotting him. We can do web balls once. We can do kick, kick, punch twice. And that will finish him off. There we go. Nice and easy. Beautiful. Right. Venom is going into the sewers, and this is not particularly this section of sewers, but the next section of sewers. Once we get a bit further in, I'll explain. It's probably most people when I stream this on my own channel, or when I've shown people this as a speedrun, sewers tends to be a lot of people's favourite bit. Just because that's where most of the cool stuff happens, which I'll be able to explain as we get there. So you'll notice there's just lizard people wandering around. The lizard is in this game, but only as like a little kind of Easter egg. You can find the lizard in the sewers later on in the game. But all these lizard people are just kind of like wandering around, so you got to watch out for them. In fact, we're going to fight some of them right now. So this door will close. We're going to walk through here, and then fire some web balls.
Sorry, guys. Am I late for the party?
We're going to take out all these lizards, and the next cutscene should play. Boom. Beautiful, beautiful.
Open this door!
Now, unfortunately, Venom does have amnesia.
Who is it?
I think he forgot that Spider-Man was chasing him. Did not realise it was Spider-Man behind the door. I'm sure he would have let him in straight away if he knew it was Spider-Man, but he didn't actually know. And then after they figure it out, clearly he opens the door there. Alright, we've got to chase him again. Okay, so normally, casually, this level, you would use, again, the aiming to swing on this because it can be a bit finicky. But again,
swing to the next
target
pipe
swing mode, but
using
because
my
we're really
L1
cool,
targeting mode.
we're going to try and do it without. So we swing to here, spin around, swing over here. Okay, we lost momentum a little bit. So if you attach to something, this is one thing about the game as well. If you attach to something, you lose kind of all momentum going forward. So it's much harder to kind of control yourself in midair when you web cancel if you attach to something. So that's what you want to generally avoid doing on those things. But we got across there nice and easy. And now, this is some people's favourite level. It's one of my favourite levels for a couple of reasons. One reason being exactly what we're about to see now. So, what we're going to do, the strat on this is basically a glorified auto-scroller. Normally there's lizard people that we have to fight, but if you want to just not fight anyone at all, you shuffle your way forward just to get onto this kind of part of the train carriage here, do a few jumps until the lizard is kind of inside of your body there, and then that's it. We just get to sit here for a minute and a half. So, nice and easy. If there are any donations that want to be read out, this is perfect time for it, because we're literally going to be kind of sat here for, like I say, a good minute and a half. But if not, I'll tell you all about my Spider-Man story and how I started with this game. Well, so everyone, Spider-Man, for me, is one of my favourite superheroes, in fact, probably my favourite superhero. And so I've been a fan of speedrunning for a long, long time. I've watched GDQ for the last couple of years. Really wanted to get involved in speedrunning in some sense, but I've never really had the time. As someone who works full time and then has other hobbies, I thought speedrunning probably just doesn't fit in somewhere. It wasn't until recently, until I was I'm between finishing one job and starting another job, where I've suddenly found myself with like a month or 2 months really of free time. So I'm like, okay, there's something to do, and there's a little kind of record or like achievement to kind of set myself to do. I want to try speedrunning a game. Spider-Man's something I thought would be a good one, because it's a game I've loved as a child, something I've replayed many times casually just myself as well. So I thought, oh brilliant, we'll jump in and we'll give this a go. And luckily the speedrun is only somewhere between like 30 and 40 minutes once you get quite good at it. So I gave it a go, and here we are today, second place on the leaderboard for any percent on PlayStation.
All right, we do have a donation from Tom about 10 minutes ago. A $20 donation, a bit of a disrespect tax for dying in my run. Let's get hyped up for the weekend. Let's rock. Also, good luck, Spyran.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, we're just about the end here, so this is one little trick you can do. Once you get to the end, normally you have to wait for the train to get all the way to the end of this little bit here, but if you set off slightly earlier, turn around and start whacking these guys with web balls, you can end the level slightly earlier than it is intended. So we'll see if we can do it. It might be slightly too slow, because this last fella is going to take a bit of time.
I doubt that really hurt me more than it hurt
so
you.
This is gone. Yeah, so not quite. We were close, very close there. There you go. That's the end of that. So this is everyone's favourite part of the game now, I think. And it's the scariest part, because a lot of runs get lost here because of the various glitches and strats that are required. So we're deeper in the sewers, still chasing Venom. We're going to zip along here. And this is where the first kind of glitch of this section comes in. So at the end of this corridor is a gate here. So normally what you'd have to do is go hit the switch to open this gate. What we're going to do is say, no thank you. This little gap here, I'm just going to aim and zip and go right through. Nice and easy. Okay, you can also land in the water just there, but normally, okay, this is very important, everyone. Normally, water kills Spider-Man. That is very important coming soon, because we're about to hit a level where there's a lot of water, and it's very scary. But for some reason, that little patch of water just doesn't kill you. Okay, next level. This one's very fast. Normally, you can hit all these switches to open up the thing, but what we're going to do is just zip to the roof instead and do a few little zips here. Hold on, we've not quite hit it there. Try again. Zip through the wall there, and that's the end of that level. Nice and easy. Okay, the scariest level of the entire game, Tunnel Crawl. This one is a classic for Spider-Man speedrunners, because this tunnel is full of water. The water lowers and then raises back up, and you've got to try and get to the end in time. Now, normally, like me, you'll fall in if you're not very good. Okay, try that again. So, what happens is there's a way to zip. You see how I'm zipping to the roof here? For some reason, Spider-Man will do these little zips. And you can do them in this tunnel, but it's very dangerous, because again, if he falls in, it's a bad time. Okay, but you see, we get some good zips here. We get some good zips. So, the aim is to do this in one cycle before the water raises. Normally, casually, you do it in two. You wait for the water to raise again. We got some very, very good zips there. Okay, now this is something that I feel I have to do. If we don't get hit this glitch, this little trick, we'll restart this level and we'll just do it normally because it will kill us. But this is what's known as tunnel crawl skip. Now, only a few of us, I say a few of us, maybe only even 2 of us try and do this because it saves a lot of time. You can actually fall in the water here and climb yourself up here, fall through the floor, and you're supposed to be able to swing across there, but I rose a bit early. So that's the dangerous thing, is you might hit the water, and if you do, that's a bad time. So we're just going to do it casually. But if you want to see that trick, guys, come watch my stream. I try that trick every time. But it had to be done. We had to do it for the memes. We had to try tunnel crawl skip. Okay, come on, Spider-Man, find a zip here. Beautiful.
Move it, Spidey, move.
Okay, we'll do this nice and casual. We'll wait for the second zip because I don't know how fast I'm going to be here. And we'll do this nice and casual. You've seen all the cool tricks for this, but just for the sake of not failing this level 20 million times, we'll wait for the water to rise and go back down. And then we'll do this nice and casual now. We won't do any zips because, again, this part is where runs go to die. If you fail this, if you're looking for world record pace, you need to hit all these zips here in this tunnel as well as the tunnel crawl skip. So if you want to see the exclusive content, check out either me or Sotalia. Sotalia is the other streamer, the world record holder of this category actually, who does that trick. So if you do this normally, what you want to do is go over here, hit this little switch here, which lowers the water. Venom will come and knock us over. There he is.
Coming through.
So we'll go chase after him a bit further. We're going to drop down to here. There's a little bit of a lizard here that we can kick in the face to get down there a bit faster. Hit that switch, cross here, and this is where we were trying to get to earlier with that little zip, the swing under the out of bounds kind of area, but it did not work, so we'll just do it that way. Okay, next level is a puzzle. Everyone likes a good puzzle, but it's very easy if you know which switches to hit. So essentially all these doors will close, and you're tasked with going into this room and trying to figure out which of the switches are the right combination. So we know the combination. It's this one and this one. We can web ball that one and then spin around and just web zip kind of that one to be able to do them both at the same time, which saves a lot of time. And then we just kind of zip to the end of this level. Nice and easy. Okay. Next one. Lizard maze. So this is where you'd, if you want to find the lizard in the game, you'd find him in this lizard maze. But what we're going to do is not find the lizard. We're just going to crawl nice and casually. Again, if you wanted to do this level a bit faster, you can do these kind of zips here, but they're a bit inconsistent. And again, if you fall in the water, you do die. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to take it nice and easy. Crawl to a certain point in this tunnel where you might think, hold on, Spyran, you've hit a dead end there. Well, lucky for you, we've got another cool little trick to show you. So,
Starting to sweat here, Parker?
Certainly am, thank you, Venom. Always calls me out for sweating at this part. Very rude. Okay, we're going to zip to here. You might think, oh no, dead end. Well, actually, not a dead end. What we're going to do is zip into this wall a bit, aim slightly to the right with our web aim. We glitch outside of the wall, and then we swing back in bounds. And this is pretty much the end of the level then. I'm going to swing to this little part here, zip, and zip, and there we go.
My.
Magic.
Send the spider to the smaller spider.
Venom is here again. We're going to fight Venom again, and this one again, we hope the RNG is on our side. This one is a very RNG heavy fight. So there's Mary Jane. She's hanging there. We've got to save her. We're not going to turn the water off, though. So Venom can spawn in one of 4 places on this one. Spawn in front of us, across from us, or left and right from us. We want him ideally to spawn in front of us all 3 times. Which we've got 1. Okay, 1. We don't want him to spawn left or right of us. We want him to spawn in front of us. If we get perfect RNG on this marathon, I swear down. Okay, not quite. What we're going to hit him with is 2 web balls there, and that'll finish him off. And that's Spider-Man and Venom fighting. And it's over. Okay.
Why did you
Spider-Man and Venom are now friends. They figured it out. Venom realizes it's all a misunderstanding, and actually we need to go to the Daily Bugle to try and figure out what the heck is going on. So,
can I interrupt for a second?
Oh,
a second?
Yes. Please.
All right. We do not have a donation right now, but we have an incentive, a little target for you for our next run. We have the Super Mario Odyssey run, and if you want to see Mario in boxers, we have that as a target over on the campaign.
Oh my days, please, everyone, we need to see Mario run around these boxes. If not for your pleasure, just for mine, please. I would love that. Okay, this next level, we're in the Daily Bugle, and the symbiote's rolling around. It's very scary. So, to avoid the symbiotes, we're actually just going to glitch through the floor, try and swing over here, and there we go, we did it right that time. So we didn't quite do it the first time, but essentially, if we land beyond a certain line, we actually just despawn a lot of the level. And what we want to do is jump just over here, and that's the level over. Normally, you have to save all the hostages and do all sorts of stuff. Spider-Man doesn't need to save the hostages, they'll save themselves, I'm sure. Okay, and now elevators.
How many of them are there?
So, we don't like elevators either, so what we're going to do is, for some reason, if you zip here, hold on, sometimes it can take be a bit finicky, but if you zip at a certain point here, what you want to do is kind of line yourself up just with this line here.
And I'm fresh out of both.
Aim to about here, where it starts turning green, hold down the zip button, and what should happen, eventually, what will happen, is Spider-Man will just glitch through the other side
Where are they all coming
of the
from?
wall. Right, again. Sometimes it can be very annoying and that symbiote will start hitting you and there's not really a way to get rid of him. Again, this is the scary section because this is where runs come to die. You don't want to be restarting as often here. Okay. Not quite low enough, I think. Hold on. We're going to keep trying. We're going to keep trying. Luckily, this is a quick level.
Symbiotes hate. It's Sonics and fire, and I'm fresh out of both.
Oh, that's symbiote. Okay. Bad luck here, guys. Bad luck here currently, but it's all right. It's gonna be very much worth it.
Symbiotes hate. It's
once we get to it. Okay, here.
And I'm fresh out of both. I guess I'll have to.
That's it. Brilliant. We're outside. We fall down until about here, and then we're gonna jump down, and the end level trigger should be just there. There it is. That saves us riding down that elevator, which takes ages normally. Okay, next little room. The printing press. So, there's some generators here normally that you'd have to destroy all of to stop these symbiotes from spawning and to save the day, essentially. But we're going to ignore most of that. We're just going to destroy those two to be able to get into this next part of the room. To be able to get into this part of the room, this door will close. We say, do you know what? The closed doors don't mean anything for Spider-Man. We're just going to go through it and fall down there, and that's the end of the level. Okay, this next trick is very hard. This will take a lot of practice if you're trying to do this trick. So, we're going to jump over here. We're going to web ball that to destroy the generator and open this next section. Now, you'll notice there's another Spider-Man over there. Don't worry about him. We're going to aim ourselves here to kind of line up against this wall. Jump over here, and as soon as we see the spider sense, we're going to turn around and try and zip back over, essentially. So I was a bit preemptive there. So, line ourselves up. As soon as we see the spider sense, we spin around and zip ourselves back before the door closes, essentially. That's what we're trying to do. Just like that. Brilliant. So that'll deload everything behind the door. We're going to then swing out of bounds and use the web zip to kind of carry ourselves along here to get to this point. A lot of the level despawned again. We'll swing to here, jump around this a little bit.
That's the guy who framed me.
And that's the end of this level. Amazing, amazing. Okay. It turns out the Mysterio was the imposter the whole time. It's Mysterio, and now we're going to fight him. He's huge. So, Mysterio fight. One of the ways to do this, there's a couple of ways to do this fight. Essentially, you need to web ball these little glowing kind of conduits on his body. So, you jump up to the top, you position yourself so he can't grab you. You'll see he's trying to grab me, but his hand goes straight through me. And then what you need to do is aim to hit the rest of his glowing conduits, which gets us to phase 2. As soon as his arms start lowering, start web balling again. And you hit him enough times until he's down. Beautiful, that's Mysterio.
Right now, you're thinking.
Now, right now, you're thinking, wow, isn't this been a great speedrun? Well, unfortunately, guys, we are very close to the end now. This is quite close to the end. So, there's not too much left. Don't worry about that person aiming at Spider-Man. That was just the Punisher, but you won't get to see him because we skipped the cutscene. Okay, so there's a warehouse here. It turns out the villains are all at the bottom of this warehouse, is what Mysterio's told us. So we need to get to the bottom of this warehouse to find out what the heck is going on. So, to do that, we need to glitch ourselves kind of in between this kind of barrel and this bit of box here, which gets us out of bounds. The end of the level is just over here, so we're going to jump down over here, kind of line ourselves up. We stop walking forward as soon as we see the top end of that, and that's the end of the level. That can be quite tricky. That'll take a lot of practice again. If you do want to run this game and you want to do any percent like this, that is one of the trickier ones as well, because the end of level trigger there can be quite tricky to find. But we're now in this underground trench, which is very, like, wild. Like, why has someone built this? I don't know.
Hey, you could put someone's eye out with
all
that.
of this is just swinging, trying to get to the end as fast as possible.
Who built this place?
There's certain bits where the ramp goes up, where you can do actually like a web zip, and it'll lock on to part of the barrier, which will get you a bit faster. But most of it's just web zipping. Avoiding the lasers. You can't touch the floor, otherwise you die, you get electrocuted. The lasers are very annoying. Sometimes they will hit you. We just want to zip, zip, zip up here, keep going, make sure the lasers don't knock us to the floor. Like that. See, if you get hit by the laser, you will just fall. So if you're not over the top of a platform, you are in big trouble. Okay, and that's pretty much the end of this level. I'm going to pick up this web cartridge. So you'll notice we've been kind of picking up web cartridges as we go along. The way the mechanics in this game work is those web cartridges that you see at the top left are how many web cartridges we have, essentially, and how many web moves we can do. You'll notice as we web things, as we swing, that starts to go down slightly. You'll see the bar start to lessen, if you've not noticed that already. Okay, Black Cat's in here. We've got a saver now. What we're trying to do is make sure we have enough web cartridges for the end of the fight with one of the next boss fights. But we're also now trying to save Black Cat and close off these conduits, these big things that essentially are pumping out all the gas into New York City. So there's 3 of them, 3 switches to hit, so we're going to go 1, 2, and then 3. And that destroys it. And now we get to this unskippable cutscene where I'll explain essentially what's going to happen next. So we free Black Cat. She's been here for the entire time, by the way, pretty much.
Yes, that does
she got kidnapped after we defeated Rhino.
Spider. Whatever you did, it worked.
And so now what we're going to do is go find who's responsible for all this nonsense, okay? Now, if you've not seen this game, place your bets now. Who do you think's responsible? There's 3 villains we're about to fight now. 3 boss fights in a row. It's all very exciting. And this will be then the end of the game. Okie dokie. It turns out, remember how I said Dr. Octopus was reformed? Lies. It was all a plan by him to frame Spider-Man and do some mean things. So what we're going to do is beat him here. So to beat him, we've got to lower this force field first of all, which we can do by hitting these switches that fall from the sky. You'll see some of them start falling. We've got to just hit the switches. If you stood in a correct position, you can kind of hit them as they're on the way down. Otherwise, you just got to get them. So you can do this in one cycle. Normally, casually, you wouldn't do this in one cycle, but because we're fast, we like to try and do it in one cycle. So, what we need to do here is stand as far back as possible. We're going to hit this as it comes down. What we're going to do is avoid his hitting us. Hit the switch.
That's it.
Web gloves on. Jump it in. And web dome. Boom. And that's one cycle Dr. Octopus. So you kick, punch, and then you web dome almost instantly before you get pushed out of the force field. And that's the end of Dr. Octopus. Okay, next, it's Carnage, everyone's other favourite symbiote. So we've got to grab Carnage here. He can be a bit funny with us though sometimes, so we're going to try and grab him here, kick him into this little field in the middle, because everyone knows that symbiotes hate force fields that are made of Sonic, which is what this is. So all we have to do is, basically, I think you need at least like 4 web cartridges to do this. So we're just going to keep him in the middle here. We hit him with the web balls to deal damage. Then also, when the Sonic kind of bubble is on, that deals that massive amount of damage to him as well. You'll notice as it's on, look how much damage it's dealing. It's beautiful. Okay. This is the second to last boss. Guys, we are nearly at the end. I do apologise. I know you'd love to see more Spider-Man in action, but we are nearly at the end. Okay. Right, we've defeated the bad guys. That's it. We win, surely. Right? No, wrong. Hold on, I pressed the save button. No. Okay. You'd be completely incorrect in assuming that this would be the end of the game, but it's not. It turns out everyone's childhood nightmare is here. It's Monster Off. It's a combination of Carnage and Dr. Octopus. This thing is nightmare fuel. I used to have nightmares about this all the time as a child. And we can't fight him. We're just going to run. He's very scary. We can't fight him. Too powerful. So we're just going to run. So essentially, the end of the game here is we've got to not let him catch up to us, because if he catches up to us, we die. And the game starts all over again. Not the game starts all over again. That would be ridiculous. The level starts all over again. So, we've just got to leg it. Which kind of brings us to the end. Once we get there. So one tip I would bring, I would give to everyone, if you would want to run this game, which I would highly recommend. Again, not much of your time to have to give up. There's tutorials and everything to be able to learn how to speedrun this game. If you want to practice your movement in this game, which movement is a vital part of going fast, so you see like the web swinging, the web cancelling. This level is actually a perfect level to do it because it's all pure movement and it's very like precise movement as well, where you can kind of swing around corners, you can do little web zips, you got to web zip to the roof, cancel that to be able to swing faster. If you want to practice movement, this one's a really, really good one to practice movement on. Which I could probably do with more of. See it.
Stay away from me!
Okay, we're going to keep swinging. Again, the very scary man, making some very awful noises. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned actually this entire fight, and this entire game, in fact, is the soundtrack. The music in this game is actually amazing. This Monster Off track included. So I would recommend, if you're a fan of video game music, go find the OST for this game. It is very, very good. My personal highlights would be this, the Mysterio fight, and the rooftop chase where the NYPD are blowing the pieces. Okay, we're almost at the end here. So essentially we've got to get to level 1. So you notice there was numbers on the doors. We're trying to get to level 1. Monster thinks it's not over yet. Unfortunately, it kind of is. Unfortunately, he's not going to catch us. Unless I get stuck in a wall like that, that would be tragic. Oh my days, please. Stay away. It gets very touch and go sometimes. He sometimes likes to speed up a lot faster than it looks like he's going, and it can get very scary.
On the home stretch, baby.
Okay, home stretch, baby. This is it. This is the end of the game. We're just going to get there now. As long as we don't die. Oh my days, we nearly did. Hello, where have I gone? There I am. Here we go. Swing, swing, swing. And time. That's it. That's Spider-Man. He saves the day. Unfortunately, Doc Octopus does survive. I don't know if that's unfortunate. Maybe if you're not a fan of bad people, but there you go. I think the symbiote dies maybe in this universe, but Doc Octopus is alive, and that's the end of the game.
Perfect end.
Right.
GG.
Yeah, GG. Thank you so much.
All right. We do have a $50 donation from Mario saying it's a bit breezy here, so we have hit our Super Mario Odyssey boxers. So Mario will be in his boxers for the run.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mario. Right, you'll see in the background, there's all these casted characters. These people do show up in the game, but we skip all the cutscenes where they are. Again, a great game for the Marvel Universe, lots of characters. Final shout-outs then. So I guess shout-out to me. Hello, I'm Spyran. I pretty much exclusively only stream this game currently because I'm trying to push for world record. I am in second place at the minute. I'm really, really trying to nail that world record. Sotalia, shout-out to Sotalia, who holds the world record, who I'm trying to chase down at the minute. Shout-out to Ink Blowout, who's another community member of the Spider-Man speedrunning community. He's the one who made the tutorial that I followed essentially to learn this game, so shout out to him. Shout out to the whole Spider-Man speedrunning community in general. There's a Discord if you want to join. You go to speedrun.com/SM2000. You'll be able to find the leaderboard for this game as well as the Discord. There's one specifically for this game as well as one for all kind of general Spider-Man games as well. And then final shout out to my lovely wife, Baby Bunting is her Twitch name. She's a lovely person. She's supported me all the way through doing this, running this game. She's given me great support, and she streams herself, so if you want to go check out someone who is into horror games or community stuff and wrestling, if you like wrestling, she does some wrestling streams. Baby_Bunting is her Twitch name. She's very, very near and dear to my heart, and I think she's watching, so I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are. I think you're with some friends at the minute. So that is the end of Spider-Man. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please, if you are interested in this game, come join us in the Discord and come run this game. It's very nice and very cool and lots of fun. That's pretty much does it for me. Thank you so much for having me. And please continue to watch Spider-Man run around. Sorry, Mario run around in his undies, not Spider-Man, just Mario.
I mean, that would be an interesting stream on its own, a different run, but all right. We'll be back in just a few moments with some Super Mario Odyssey. Is it the end? Who knows?
We're raising money for charity, so if you can help us reach our goal, !donate in chat. Would you like a high quality FTLG mousepad? Do !mousepad in chat.